Jamie, and welcome to another cooking video with the chaotic Canadian mom. I have a couple little helpers here helping me today. So there's thing one and thing two. You'll have seen them on my other channel. Now, I had posted on Twitter the other day about making potato buns, and it's one of those things that I feel recipes from my heritage or growing up, they tend to disappear unless you pass them on. So that's part of my reason that I have taught my boys my recipes and how to cook, and why I'm now showing you guys. So before we can graduate to full-on potato buns, I am going to show you the best, by far, just dinner roll recipe, and I'm gonna use the cheap method by using my bread machine. Now, of course, you can't make rolls in a bread machine, but I'm gonna show you how to use your bread machine to get a good start on making the buns, to make things a lot easier. So the first thing that we want to do, and Jax, I'll let you do this, is you're going to put 1 cup of warm water into your bread machine. Now, it's important that the water is warm because you want it to activate your yeast. Using cold water actually will make the yeast not work. And the yeast that I like to use is this Fleischmann's bread machine yeast. So we put that in next, and we need 3 teaspoons of this. So thing one, do you want to put these in? So there's...
Can I put the last one
There's
in?
1. No, you did the water. So there's 1. There's 2. And 3. So now there's no big rush to continue on, because the longer that the yeast will sit in the water, the more it'll activate. And I don't know if I can zoom in right now while I'm filming. Not the best. But it will start foaming. You'll see some foaming start to happen in the mixture. And you'll notice a smell right away, which is the yeast, and that is a good thing. But you definitely want the water to be warm. The boys don't like the smell of yeast. Oh, Mason does. So now that we've got that part in, the next step, now I like to add the liquids in the bottom, and every bread machine is going to give you different, I don't know, guidelines. So what we need to add is, actually, Mason, thing 1, can you run and grab me a table knife? And while he's doing that, thing 2, this is 1 beaten egg. So pour that in for me, little man. Perfect. Okay, now, thing 1, we need 2 tablespoons. So can you use the table knife and fill that up, do you think, 2 times, or do you want mommy to help?
Mommy to help.
Do you want me to show you how to do it on the first one?
Mommy, look, I'm putting the tiny one out here.
Now,
The shield here.
a lot of recipes are going to call for margarine. I don't believe in margarine, and I'll go back to my scientific brain that I've spoken about a lot with my some of my MLM videos and whatnot. If you look at the chemical build, I guess, of margarine, it's only about 1 molecule away from being plastic. So that's why you will never, ever, ever see margarine on my channel. It will always be butter. And as I say to my boys, everything is better with butter.
No.
Let me help you out, bud.
Yeah, she always says it.
Don't talk like a baby. You're not a baby. Thing 1, I don't know, he might not be my child. He does not like butter, but he does know, because he loves to watch baking shows and whatnot, that butter is necessary when baking. So,
It's my turn.
no, you did the egg. Here, don't use your fingers, use the knife.
This is very focused.
Perfect. Now I'll get you up another, whoop, let's get the last little bit out of there.
It's gotta
So now we'll put the second tablespoon in. Mason, do you want to do, or thing one, do you want to do this one again? Okay.
You want to?
I wouldn't mind. Or here.
That's fine.
Okay.
You can have my turn.
Okay.
And I can do the last one.
Okay, so that was 2 tablespoons of butter.
You have to put sugar in it.
Now, like I said, you can use margarine. I don't. So now we can start with some of the dry ingredients, not including the yeast, of course. So what we are going to add, and I'll let thing 2 do this one, is 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, do you want to sprinkle that in everywhere? Okay, keep it in the loaf pan. Perfect. Okay, so now we need 1/4 cup of sugar.
Sugar, yay.
So thing 1 will help with that.
I like sugar.
And what we're gonna put in is 1/4 cup of sugar.
It smells so good. I want some.
Okay, do you want to sprinkle that in?
I like
No.
sugar.
That you can dump in a little bit.
Sugar. It's really hard not to eat it.
Yeah. Okay, okay. So now we've got the sugar in there. The sugar also is gonna help that yeast activate, which is why I like to put it in before any of the flour. So now, okay, can you move your stuff off the top here? Now what we need
It's my turn.
is 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Where did my scooper go out of there? Interesting.
Oh, I think it, Travis buried it last time. Sorry.
Okay, thing 1, go stand. Okay. Now you can sift your flour. I tend to pre-shift my flour. No, you did the sugar. Okay, so thing 1.
I didn't do sugar.
Oh, you did the sugar? Oh, okay, sorry.
And even if I didn't, I'll just take my turn if I didn't.
So, there's 1 cup of flour. And I'm making it.
Got my fingers dirty. People always get dirty while cooking.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, you gotta make sure you keep it in the loaf pan, okay? 2 cups of sugar, or flour, sorry. Just all-purpose flour is fine. If you would like, let me know down below and I can show you how to make a whole wheat bread or a rye. Or I know at Nosy House Frau thinks the word pumpernickel is kind of funny. I can even make that kind of bread.
Pumpernickel?
Pumpernickel.
Pumpernickel?
So now you can leave this as is at this point, or if you would like to add some more flavor or seasonings to it, you can as well. I tend to use, I use like a,
Potion.
you can add things like an Italian dressing mix or a dry mix like that to add, you know, a garlic flavor or anything. You can even make this into a sweet bread, which again, let me know down below. I can show you how to make that. So now on my particular bread maker, to get this all going, all you do is you select, so it's at basic, rapid, sweet, grain, French, cake, bake, jam, dough. And you leave it at the dough setting and then you start. So it'll take 2 hours. And this will take out all of the letting it rise, punching it down, letting it rise that I do sometime. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna rely on this old as dirt bread machine that I have. And I wish you could still buy this. It's a Black & Decker. I got this as a graduation gift when I left high school in 1995 and it is going strong. So I will come back here with my little helpers in a couple hours and I'll show you how to turn your dough into beautiful dinner rolls.
I'm starting with 6.
Okay, and thing 1 would like to give his review of them.
They're very, very too good for you guys.
He loves them. So until we come back to show you that, have fun. Okay, so now it's been 2 hours and the dough is done in the bread maker. So this is the fun part. First thing that I do is I work on one of these baking mats, mostly for the reason that it kind of keeps my counter clean and it keeps all the flour that I'm gonna put down kind of contained into one spot. So all I do is just spread a little bit of flour, oops, all over, and still I get it off the baking mat, but it is what it is. The next thing I do, now I just use the cheap Kirkland kind. I spray the pan that I'm going to be baking my buns in, as well as I spray my hands, because dough is sticky. So I just give my hands a quick once over. Then here's our dough in here. We pull the dough out of the bread maker. We remove the little paddly thing. And I try to get it into kind of a little bit of a ball. And from here, what I find works best is I just kind of lightly coat it in the flour that's on your working mat. I'm preheating my oven to just 200 degrees. It's another little hack that'll help. Now, using a serrated knife, I'm going to cut this dough in approximately half, like such. And then I just kind of keep working in halves until I get down to the size of the bun that I would like. The reason I'm not cutting straight down is these baking mats are not cutting boards, so you don't ever want to cut those. Now sometimes it depends, right? If I want to be making great big hamburger buns, well, maybe this is big enough, but keep in mind these still have to rise one more time. So I think that's probably going to be about the right. Let's make them a little smaller. I think I made them this size last time and they were a little big. So I get them to say about this size. From there, what I like to do is just kind of work them flat and fold them under so that your seam is kind of on the bottom, just to give them a more nice rounded look. And I place them in my baking pan. So I'll just continue to, now because these are homemade buns, all my buns are not going to be the same size, but that's kind of the appealing part to a homemade bun, I guess. Now these are going to be some of the lightest, fluffiest, delicious buns. This is by far a lot of trial and error, messing around with recipes, whatnot. They're just the ones that turn out the best. Now, when you graduate to making the actual potato buns, it's probably why I start working them flat. You'd put the filling in and then seal them at the bottom to put them into your pan to bake. I've not used this particular recipe for making an actual loaf of bread, but if you're interested, again, let me know down below and I can show you my bread making recipe. I have two very different recipes. One that I use for if I'm lazy using the bread machine, and another for if I am doing it the good old-fashioned way. Now, you never want to work your dough too much at this point, but sometimes when you make mistakes like I just did, it's kind of inevitable. Now I make mine all different sizes too, just because I know that I have carboholics like myself in the family, as well as not so much. So if you have a little bun or a bigger bun, it is what it is. Now I'm working with a smaller pan, so I'm probably gonna have to do these in 2 different pans. And what I'll do is, I have an electric oven, a small Wolf countertop oven, that I prefer for baking. It's a drier heat, so I find with baking it actually works better. And I also have a gas oven. And for me, that's the oven to use for any meat dishes, roasts, that type of thing, because the gas heat is a more wet heat. But what I can do, I'm going to just quickly run and grab a different pan, and I'll do a couple in each so you can see the difference when they're done. So the ones that are going to be in the pink pan are going to be the ones that I'm going to do in the gas oven. And as I mentioned, that's merely my preference. You definitely don't need to run out and buy an electric oven if you have a gas, or vice versa. Do a bigger one here. So here we have the ones that are going to go into my electric oven, and here we have the ones that are going to go into my gas oven. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cover them with a dish towel. And now you could leave these on a countertop or a warm spot and let them rise until they're about double in size. What I prefer to do though is I turn on my oven at only 200 degrees, and I cover them and wait till they double in size. And it usually only takes about 15 minutes rather than the half hour or an hour it could take just sitting on your countertop. So we will come back when these have risen. Okay, so these have been rising in the oven at about 200 degrees Celsius with the door cracked, covered. Now they're about double in size. Now if you remember, these are the ones that I'm going to be doing in my electric oven. These are going to be the ones that I'm doing in my gas oven. So now what I do at this point, I just melted some butter in my mug, and I'm just going to brush the top of these with some butter.
Can I help?
I'll let you paint some that are closer to you.
How about these ones?
Okay, so you just dip a little here. Okay, just don't push hard because you don't want to flatten them.
Dip. Well, I'm sure I can do it by myself.
Oh, don't push so hard in there, okay? Dip, dip. Good job, bud. Okay, let me just finish up the butter here. Just evenly get some extra on these bigger buns, because we know we love a buttered bun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't measure how much butter I melted. I just kind of guesstimated.
She guessed how much butter she needed.
Now keep in mind, when you're using real butter on top of these, when you bake them, don't have them like on the top shelf in your oven or anything, because the butter could burn. And even though it won't necessarily make your buns not taste very good, it just might not be as visually appealing. I think that's pretty good now. So the next step is, so you change the temperature of your oven up to 375 and you put them in for about 15 more minutes.
Oh, see, I'm telling you.
The little man's got a cold. So about 12 to 15 minutes. Don't cough on the buns. So just until they've got that nice golden look. You don't want them black, you don't want them raw looking. So I am going to do that, and we'll come back and see what the finished product looks like. So the buns are out now. Now this is what I'm talking about, the difference between a moister bake and a more dry heat that's in an electric oven. Yeah. The electric seems to give you a more even browning, whereas the gas is more, I don't know. It's not as even, and you'll notice it just, yeah, there's more of the grease, like the spray that we'd put on the pan in the bottom of the pan, that type of thing. So now for the food porn part. Let's slice into, hot. So you'll see the most airy, delicious buns. And I don't know about y'all, but when I bake, I can't help but, butter makes everything better. Oh, so good. So good. Hey, thing two.
Yeah.
Come here. Okay, it's a little bit warm, but take a bite. Just take a bite and let everybody know what it tastes like.
Good.
Is it the best thing ever?
Yeah.
Okay, so the verdict is in. So I hope you enjoy this easy recipe, and like I said, let me know down below if you would like recipes on doing actual loaves of bread or without using the bread maker.
I'm trying to finish this.
I have a little bread theme. Let me know what else you would like to see. I know I will be doing my infamous or famous cornbread recipe soon. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, share, and until next time, bye.